Okay guys, hi, this is Jackie M. Hopefully you guys can hear me loud and clear and can see me as well. Today is Vegan Friday and I am going to be attempting, okay, that's the caveat there, I'm attempting a vegan version of my fairly popular dish called Sui Gow, which is kind of like a poached dumplings, right? And usually I would use chicken and prawn in it and a bunch of other stuff. I'm going to make a vegan version today and we'll see how it turns out. Just a heads up, I've got someone showing up in about 10 minutes, give or take, and she is actually joining me for lunch, though she's anything but vegan apparently. So there will be a little bit of an interruption when I answer the doorbell and all that sort of stuff. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackie M. I am a Malaysian street food specialist and former restaurateur based here in Sydney, Australia. I was born and raised in Malaysia. And if you're watching this on YouTube and expect this to be a short and sweet 3-minute video, go away now. This isn't it. This is a live broadcast and it will take as long as it takes for me to produce a finished product, okay? And for those of you who struggle to understand me or who are going to complain about how you can't understand my accent or think I should shut up, you can leave right now as well because I don't have time for you. But for everyone else, like I said, welcome. And today we are doing a vegan dish and let's see how we go. Now, usually I would use a particular, what we call wonton skin. You can actually make this yourself, and one of these days I will go through the process of making your own wonton skin, right? But generally it is just so much easier to buy it from the store, and luckily here in Australia in the Asian grocery stores. Hi sweetheart. And by the way, Noah's home today because it's still the Easter holidays, so we'll see how he goes, okay? Also, just give me a second, I'll just make sure that I am online. Okay, let me have a look. Okay, just give me 2 seconds while I hop onto my channel. Where am I? Okay, channel. Okay, now, yeah, it's so much easier for me to just buy wonton skin, and there's actually 2 varieties you can get here in Australia. You can get ones with egg, which tend to look more yellow, and ones that are egg-free, okay? This particular version is egg-free, and it's actually called Shanghai wonton skin, okay? It looks a lot paler, and for some time, because I run a Malaysian food business still, albeit on a very small scale, for a couple of weeks when they had a change of staff at my local Asian grocery store where I bulk order all my stuff. When I ordered wonton skin, they kept giving me the Shanghai wonton skin. I got annoyed with them and said, look, you know, I'm not Shanghainese, okay? I'm not making Shanghai wontons per se. I want regular wonton skin with the egg in. But, you know, like I said, because this is egg-free, this is what I'm going to be using today. Difference to me is that the Shanghai wonton skin is a little bit thicker, okay? In texturally is a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more chewy, okay? So that's that. And I'm going to be using tofu. This is labeled as hard tofu, so if you're Asian, you will know that tofu comes in a whole range of different levels of like texture and silkiness and all that, right? Just, okay, sounds like my phone is going off for whatever reason. Anyway, just give me a second, because I'm going to cut this open, and usually you'll find tofu will sit in like a pouch or a box that's got some liquid in it. So when you cut it open, you're just going to be aware that you're going to kind of like have a lot of liquid that you're going to tip out, okay? So let's do this now. And what I want to do with the tofu is I'm going to mash it up, and it just reminded me, okay, I've got some dried mushroom. I don't usually use dried mushroom in my non-vegetarian version of this dish, right? But I figure every little bit helps in texture and all that. Okay, these are pre-sliced dried mushrooms, right? Usually you would buy them like not pre-dried, stems removed, but usually they would, or even with the stem on, but you know, whole. Right, but these are pre-sliced and already dried, so it saves me having to having to slice them, right? So I've got some up the back. Just give me 1 minute while I can pour some hot water over it and soak it. Okay, so here you go. So these are the mushrooms, and I've just poured some water from the kettle over them, and they've softened up quite considerably already. Okay, so you just want this to soak for a couple of minutes. You can use fresh mushrooms too if you like. And I've got some green onions over here that I'm going to throw in. So these I'm gonna chop up. And another ingredient I'm going to be using is, if you've been following my series, you've been following my vegan series, I've used this before. These are just Japanese seaweed, right? Okay, this is in a box, they're all broken up, and you can buy whole slices and break them up yourself, okay? And I think I bought them in this state because they were cheaper. They're kind of like, I guess, like offcuts of seaweed sheets, right? So I'm just going to cut this open. Gentle, please, baby. Gentle, gentle. Okay, so there you go. I'm just going to tip out the water. You see the amount of water that's in there. And usually, by the way, these tofu will have like about a 1 month shelf life. But I tend to find that they don't always like last as long as what they use by date states, right? And I want to mash this up. Just let me grab some gloves. Hey, sweetie. Hey, you want to play peekaboo? You want to come to mama? You want to play peekaboo? Hey. Peekaboo. And by the way, before I go any further, I just want to give my usual shout out to Lenovo Australia for the laptop I use for my live broadcast. And I use a Lenovo Y700, which is a gaming laptop. Perfect for this. And also Rode microphones for the microphone I use for my broadcast. Okay, so this is quite a solid block, right? I could have used a softer block, but I think this one would probably work better. I'm just going to use half of it, I think. You see, this is really, really firm. And I'm contemplating whether I should actually throw it in the food processor or just chop it up roughly. I think I might food processor it. Okay, so that's that. And you know what? I've got a pot here up the back. I'm going to start heating it up. Plug it in. So I've just got a pot of water up the back that I'm going to start heating up. What else do I need? I need water chestnuts, if you're not familiar with that. Water chestnuts, you can buy these like in cans, or you can buy them frozen whole, right? At Asian grocery stores. Over here, they don't cost much more than $1 a tin here in Australia. If you don't have it, don't worry. All it does, it really, it's fairly flavor neutral, but it mostly adds crunch to whatever dish you're using, okay? So this is what it looks like, opened up, and I'm just going to strain out the juice again. Just let me clear out some space here a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to strain it in this bowl again. So if you don't have it, look, when I make my non-veggie version, I use water chestnuts as well. But when I don't have water chestnuts, I basically use anything that creates like a nice light crunchy texture as well. So usually I would use the stems of like my Chinese greens, and that will work as well. Okay, so got that. What else do I need? Now, I'm going to be a little bit cute here. I don't actually put this into my non-veggie version, but like I said, you know, being a vegan version of this, I kind of feel like you need all the help you can get to add flavor to this. So I'm going to throw in this thing here. This is a minced preserved radish, right? These are they're basically salted and sweetened radish that are kind of like cut up, minced up. This is a Thai product. You can buy Chinese radish as well. Usually the Chinese radish will not be minced like this. They'll be cut into chunks, okay, into oblong chunks, and you can, it's just kind of like, because it's salty and a little bit sweet, it just adds a little bit more, I guess, flavor to this, maybe a little bit of crunchiness as well. Don't have it, don't worry about it, just leave it out, okay. Just let me cut it open. And this is actually the same product that you would find in a pad thai, okay? So this is what it looks like. But I tend to find that with any dish that you're cooking, if you need a little bit of a flavor boost, this works as a good vegetarian option for it, okay? So let's see how my mushrooms are going. Okay, they're still a little bit rubbery, but they're getting there. And what else? I'm going to throw in some fried shallots and all that as well. But let's first zap this in my thermocook. Okay, so the thermocook is just basically like a multi-purpose, multi-function kitchen appliance, and among the many things it does, it's just as a food processor. So in that goes, and I'm just going to process it very quickly. I just want to mash it up. Okay, there you go. Okay, so let's throw this in here. And next thing I'm gonna process is some of these water chestnuts, okay? You can like just use a knife and kind of like mince it up, but it's just easier with this. A little bit more. Yeah, I think that's it. More. Okay, so this is just kind of like minced up. You don't want this too fine because it's gonna end up in like, you know, you want to retain the crunchiness. Okay, so if you process this too long or too fine, it's just going to be like a big gluggy mess, and it kind of defeats the purpose. So far, tofu and the water chestnuts, right? And now I'm going to throw in some of this. That's the minced preserved radish. Like I say, if you don't have it, leave it out. And some green onion. I used to call this a spring onion, right? And until I was appointed the ambassador of the summer food festival that was basically sponsored by these market growers and distributors. And apparently these are called green onions. Spring onions look exactly the same, but they've got like a big white bulb at the bottom, sort of like a biggish white bulb at the bottom. So there you go. And I know in other parts of the world you call these shallots. And like I said, guys, if you don't have half of these ingredients, it really doesn't matter. I'm just kind of like trying to be a little bit like creative. Hi, sweetheart. Hey, you been a good boy? You wanna play peekaboo? Peekaboo. 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 Good boy. And I'm gonna chop up some of these seaweed a little bit further. You can leave it out. I think the seaweed kind of like, flavor-wise, kind of like gives it, it's kind of like the substitute for the prawns, the missing prawns, okay, because they're quite flavoursome. Okay, chicken generally doesn't add much flavour. So, hey, please, gentle, 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 gentle. Okay, so in that goes. Now I'm going to add some garlic into this as well. I don't usually put garlic in the non-veggie version, okay? So sprinkling, these are dried garlic granules, right? But you can use obviously fresh garlic if you want. And some fried onion over here. There's a commercial bag of fried onion. Most things I buy come in commercial quantities, okay? So in that goes. The fried onion is just going to help to hold things together a little bit because it does absorb some of the moisture. So that goes in there. Now as far as the seasoning, and if you've been following my vegan series, you will be familiar with this. This mushroom seasoning. If you research a lot of Asian vegetarian dishes, this is kind of like their go-to seasoning as far as something that represents stock cubes, right? Okay, the mushroom seasoning obviously is the vegan or vegetarian version of this kind of seasoning. It does contain MSG, so if you're MSG averse, replace it with something else, right? But a lot of Chinese vegetarian dishes will use this, okay? So I'm gonna throw some of that in there. And on top of that, I'm gonna throw a little bit of salt in there as well, okay? And some sesame oil. Here's my sesame oil. It's just, you can't tell, but all the sesame oil that we get at Asian grocery stores in Australia are toasted sesame oil, okay? I know, like, in America and probably in some Whole Foods stores here as well, you buy sesame oil that's untoasted, unroasted, okay? But the Chinese, when we use sesame oil, is always from roasted sesame. Peekaboo, good boy. Peekaboo. Okay, so a little bit of salt in there. You notice I don't measure anything, and that's how I work. Okay, now I'm going to put some tapioca starch in here, right, to hopefully kind of like bind things together. Not too much. Let's see how we go with this. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to add to this. But okay, yeah, the mushrooms. Here we go. So the mushrooms, after they've soaked for about 10 minutes or so, this is what they'll look like. Okay, and I want to chop these up. And add them to this. Just chop it a little bit finer. I'm wondering if I need more tofu in there now, but let's see how we go. Okay, so in that goes. Now, usually if I were making the non-veggie version for the binding, I would actually crack, like throw in some egg white. Okay, but hopefully the cornstarch or tapioca starch either works fine. We'll kind of do the same thing. Okay. So this is what it looks like now. I'm going to taste test this a little bit. Okay. the flavor is about right. I'm wondering if I need a little bit more salt to it, because once it's poached, you got to remember the poaching process will cause some of the flavor to leach out. Okay, so I'm just going to add a tiny pinch of salt into this, some more, and mix it up. Hey, 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 Maestro, good to see you again. Perfect snack to have while binge watching. Yeah, if you're into vegan stuff. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It actually tastes quite nice. Maybe I'll try and fool my visitors' kids into thinking it's non-vegetarian. See if they eat. Okay, so this is what these look like, right? You can buy them in squares or you can buy them round, right? When I'm making this dish, I prefer them square, and I need a little bit of water to kind of like help seal the edges. So give me a second. Okay, let me just clear some of these. I think, yeah, my water is boiling now, so I can probably start poaching these. Now, stick around, by the way, guys. You have to remind me because I totally forgot about it the other day. But see these Bon Maman jars of conserve up the back here. I promised on my last broadcast that I was going to talk about these, how you can grab some of these. And I told everyone I'd do that at the end of the broadcast, and I totally forgot about it. So I'm very, very sorry for those people who hung around to the end of my broadcast the other day. But yeah, remind me this time around, and I will try and remember. Unfortunately, for this particular batch, I can only send them within Australia. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, so let's do this. I'm going to bring my pot of boiling water across from my bench up the back. And also what I'm going to do with this as well after this, after I poach the dumplings, I'm also going to make a sauce for it. Okay, so stick around to see how I make the sauce, and then poach some vegetables for them to sit on and all that as well. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to get rid of the steamer basket. You can in fact steam the dumplings as well if you like, right? But steaming it is going to leave the skin a little bit not al dente, but a little bit more chewy. Poaching it will soften it up. Okay. Hey, good boy. Yeah. So I've got some water over here. Get rid of this. I've got my wonton skin here. These are egg-free wonton skin, right? Like I said, I'll do another episode next time showing you how to actually make the skin itself, but you can use other types of skin if you like to, right? So got this. You want about a teaspoon of this, and just stick some water along the edges, right? And then just fold it in half and pinch them. Make sure you pinch them. And the flour, because these are floured sheets, right? The flour will help to keep the seal. So there you go. That's all you have to do. You can get a little bit fancy in how you fold these, but we're not going to bother with that today. Pick it up. Seal these. Okay. Just going to turn this down a little bit. If my visitors don't eat this, I'm going to take these round to my neighbor, my vegetarian neighbor downstairs, who's Buddhist and doesn't eat meat. Okay. Because this is quite a lot here. Oh, if any of you are vegetarian and live around my part of Sydney, hit me up. And you get a free feed every Friday. And by the way, guys, you can actually fry these up as well, okay? I don't know if I'll have time to fry these up, but we'll see how we go anyway. Okay, let's turn the water down. This is really quite brisk. You can see it. Just let me move these things out of the way so you can see the water. Okay, so there's just about 2 liters of water in a pot. In these go. And you know what? I'm gonna make some more and see if we have time to fry them up, so you can kind of do a comparison. So you want to just poach these for a couple of minutes, not too long, all right, guys, because you don't want to kill them. So just turn it back up. And you know it's done usually when they float up to the top, which they already are. Noe, hush, please. Yeah, good boy. Yeah. So they float up to the top, right? And also you can see like little air pockets in the where the filling is. Noe, please, gentle, gentle. Okay, Mummy's gonna put it away. Okay, Mummy's gonna put it away. You want Mummy to put it away? Okay, Mummy's gonna put it away. Come. Okay. Noe? Are you a naughty boy? Are you a naughty boy? Okay. These should be done. And see the little air pockets there. You can't really see it on this webcam, but trust me, it's there. So what you want to do if you're not eating them straight away, you can actually serve this up with soup, okay, like a clear broth or something like that. But if you're not serving it up right away, what you want to do is just toss it in some sesame oil just to make sure it doesn't start sticking together. So let me turn this down. Okay, so you see them? So sesame oil. Just gently toss them. Okay, there you go. If you can see them. Okay, like I say, you can be a little bit fancy how you fold them, but usually when I serve these up for my business, the non-veggie version, I just fold them in triangles, okay? So, just making a few more. And now I'm gonna poach some Chinese greens. And then I'll make the sauce. And I'll heat up some oil and fry these up so you can see what these look like fried up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who spilled the tubby custard? Good boy, yeah. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so let's move this. So these wonton skins usually come in packs of 50. tea. Okay, just get this out of the way. And as far as Chinese greens, I've got some what we call gailan or Chinese broccoli over here. Okay, for whatever reason, these are a little bit expensive. I don't know whether it's because of all the rain in Sydney we've had, but these cost me $2, which is still cheap by Western standards, but it's expensive by Chinese standards. Okay, here we go, good boy. So I'm just gonna get about half a bunch like this, and these are quite small stems. Usually if they're bigger stems, you would want to actually cut the stems up at an angle, just to kind of like I'm going to do it for the larger ones anyway. Back in Malaysia when we use these, right, my mom used to get me to kind of like peel the stems, peel the fibers of the stem, right? But I generally find the Australian version of gailan to be a lot more tender than what we used to get as kids in Malaysia, growing up in Malaysia. That's how I remember it. Okay, let's turn this back on, and I'm going to start. Let me just get this out of the way. I'm going to start heating up some oil in the meantime. I want to bring this back up to a boil, so I can just quickly poach the greens, and I'm going to make a sauce for all this. It really, you know, in all honesty, you can eat these as is. They don't really need a sauce to go on them because they're quite flavoursome in and of themselves. But if you're serving them like on a bed of greens or with some noodles or something like that, I think a sauce will help enhance it a little bit more. Nearly there. And usually when you cook Chinese greens, especially something like gailan where the stems tend to be a little bit more, a little bit tougher than other varieties, right? You want to throw the stems in and then like count to like 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 before you throw in the greens, okay? The leaves. Yeah, you want to eat, baby? You want to eat? Maybe Noah will eat these. You want to eat? Not yet, not yet, not yet. Good boy, not yet. Here you go. Yeah, silly monkey. Okay, so I got a little distracted there, but these could have come out like 10 seconds ago, okay? Doesn't matter. Let's take them out now. I'm just going to get rid of the rest of this water. Okay, so when you're blanching Chinese greens, right, you want to do them for seconds, not minutes, okay? Usually, like depending on the variety, you know, 5 seconds. Throw them in, count 5 seconds, take them out, and they're done, okay? These ones I would do for 10 seconds, but yeah, certainly not much longer than that. I got a little bit distracted by Noah trying to steal the dumplings, the uncooked ones. Okay. So there you go. And usually what the Chinese do is they quickly toss this in cold water just to stop it cooking any further, okay? Noah, look, you can't eat these. You can't eat these, sweetie. Noah's killed 2 of my uncooked dumplings because he's been trying to eat them. Come to Mama. We're going to eat soon, okay? We're going to eat soon. Silly monkey. Come. Come to Mama, baby. Come over here. Over here. Come. monkey, hey? So that leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to deep fry. So let's get rid of this pot. And I'm going to make some sauce. Here we go. Okay. So that goes in there. Let's grab a pan. Okay, when you make this sauce will go well with noodles as well, okay? Usually when we make the non-veggie version, we'll be using a combination of oyster sauce, soy sauce, sesame oil, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of seasoning, that sort of stuff. So that's what's going in there, except I'm using a vegetarian oyster sauce. And if you don't have vegetarian oyster sauce, don't worry about it. Just use more soy sauce and some sugar, okay? Because essentially, if you read the ingredients list of what's in a vegetarian oyster sauce, all it is soy sauce, sugar, plus mushroom seasoning. Okay, the good old mushroom seasoning I showed you earlier. So let's drizzle in some sesame oil, right? And there's just some soy sauce, your regular light soy sauce in here. Okay. And this is my vegetarian oyster sauce, okay? I didn't, in fact, when I bought it, I didn't realize it was vegetarian. I just grabbed whatever was cheapest on the shelves and it turned out to be this. I brought it home and I realized it was vegetarian. And as far as difference in flavor compared to regular oyster sauce, I found this to be sweeter and less salty. Just something to keep in mind, okay, when you're doing substitutions and experimenting with recipes. But of course, different brands of the same kind of stuff will have their own flavor profiles, okay? So don't assume that that's going to be the case with any brand you buy. Okay, this one says Kong Yen. I don't even know. Okay, it's from Taiwan, right? So just something to keep in mind. And hang on a sec, I think someone's at the door. So I'm just throwing in some of the mushroom seasoning in here. Just give me a second. Hey, did the buzzer not work? That's alright, come on in. Yeah, go. Okay. So this is just thickening up. No one's happy. It's got rid of visitors. You know what, guys? I'm going to leave the sugar out. Do you want to come around and say hello, or are you happy to stay out?
I'll stay out for a moment. I have 2 kids here.
Okay, cool. Okay, this is quite salty, right? You can add a little bit of, you know what? I will put a touch of sugar in here. Okay, so I'm just going to add a touch of sugar in here. And like I say, you can add a bit of water to this, just to thin it down a little bit. But let's see how we go with this. Okay. So this actually tastes really nice, right? But quite concentrated. So just be very, very liberal with it. Very, very like conservative with it if you're drizzling it over your dumplings. Because the dumplings, like I say, have a lot of flavor in them as well. Let me get a plate to dish this up with. And you know what? Let me bring the oil, and I'm going to fry up the rest of them. Okay, this oil isn't perfect. It's actually a little bit old, but I've been heating it up on the stove just in between. Let's throw this in. You can see it fry up. Okay. Let me grab a plate for presentation. dumplings. Let me just turn this up a little bit more. So you really, I mean, if I were frying this using my regular egg type wonton wrapper, I would look for it to brown a little bit, okay? But because these wrappers are white completely, I guess just a nice hue would be okay. So let's get these dumplings out. These are the poached ones. Okay. Hi, sweetheart. Bathroom is just up the back, second on the right. Okay. I'm terrible with the presentation, but let's see how this goes. Okay. And let's see how these are coming along. Turn them around. Okay, so they're browning up quite nicely. They'll be done by now. I'm going to take them out. I need, I guess, tongs should be okay. Okay, just remember, right, when you're deep frying anything, they will continue to cook after you remove them from the oil for a little bit. So don't fry them till they're the exact shade you want, okay, because they will keep browning and end up being too brown. Okay, so there you go. Let's turn this off. I'm going to get rid of the oil. Noah, don't throw anything outside, okay? Noah, gentle please, gentle, gentle. Hey, Noah, no. Sorry. Noah, don't get it gentle. You get your gentle touch, okay? It's hitting the baby. So that's the dumplings. Let's drizzle some sauce over it. Okay. Okay, and you want some sauce over the, I need a spoon to do the drizzling. Okay, it's alright, you can come through, no worries. Okay, so it's just drizzling some sauce over the greens as well. Let's do up the next lot. Let's have a go. Okay. Oh, your baby. Noah! Sorry, I don't know what he did. Noah! Give me a second. Hello. Yes, it is. Yeah, no worries. I'll give you 2 seconds, okay? Thank you. Okay, so now I've got a delivery. Okay, so these are the fried versions. I'm going to tart them up so you can see what they look like. And this is the poached version, okay, here guys. I'm going to take some photos and show you. It takes me like 5 minutes to run downstairs and back up, so I'm going to actually just end this here. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Recipe shows up on my website, jackiem.com.au within the next few days. And don't forget to follow me on Twitch. And yeah, giveaway, Bon Mama. Okay, you got to email me at Jackie, Jackie, at jackiem.com.au and give me your Twitch handle, okay? Because this is available to Twitch followers of mine based in Australia, and we will pick 3 people who will get 2 jars of these Bon Mama conserves sent out to them. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you next time, and I might be able to do an extra broadcast because I've got some extra data available this month. So until then, I will see you.